This video is made for adult collectors because you have to time travel to get this figure at retail, even though it never actually existed at retail. Is it just me, or do these two kind of feel like they fit in the same category of like weirdly rare / weirdly hard to get, and also just odd sort of collaborations and exclusives? Because this is a ride exclusive. This was an exclusive if you got a ride in a car. They both sort of like fit the same category to me. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but we're not here to talk about him. We're here to talk about Armada Wheeljet. Transformers, like most other toy lines, has had its fair share of exclusives. Exclusives keep the relationships with the retailers going and keeps both sides of the coin happy in that regard. And Transformers has rides in many of the Universal Studios parks around the world. So naturally there would be an exclusive for those parks. Well, there was. This is Evac from Universal Studios, and it's a toy you could never buy in retail stores. It got its own new mold and everything, but was only available at the ride itself. It also came in Dark of the Moon and Age of Extinction packaging. A lot of people used to call him a retool of the Dark of the Moon Deluxe Roadbuster, but they share no parts, just a similar like torso flip step in the engineering. But this is a really cool looking robot. I love the scaffolding looking legs with the bits of blue that lead into the black torso with a silver central core piece before the blue really begins to take over the color scheme. He does use that gray I really don't like, but it kind of works here. I love the way the arms are built, using the wheels to make the shoulders stick out and feel bigger, and the guns on the forearms. I love the way these panels on the side of his legs flare out. Backpack though, it's a lot. The reason for this is because it has the actual ride seats molded inside of it, and he's got these like unique and cool door wings, but it's a bit of an eyesore at the top and all that. You can unpeg it and shift it down if you want to, but it doesn't feel solid on my copy, so I just leave it clipped in up at the top. He comes with nothing, no weapons to speak of, which is a bit of a shame. He does have 5mm hands though, so he can hold pretty much anything you want him to, which is nice. And you can technically detach the waist cannons and put them in his hands. Also, yeah, he has waist cannons that are adjustable. He's pretty bulky for a deluxe too. I like the hand feel for the most part, but there are some bits like the shoulders or the hips that are a tad loose, but they're all ball joints. I can fix that. For a 2012 toy though, his posing is actually pretty damn good. All he really needs is a waist joint to match with a lot of modern Transformer Deluxes today. However, the torso tab here doesn't like to stay locked in super well, so I find when posing it, the torso just starts coming apart. So like I said, his posing is quite modern for a figure of this age, because like around this time we were getting toys such as, let me grab a 2012 toy. Where's the toy from 2012? Ooh. We were getting figures like this, who suck at posing, and articulation wasn't exactly the forefront like it is now. But even still, this has quite a bit. So the head is on a ball joint. You can look down and up. You can actually tilt left and right. I'll talk about that in a second. And then you can look left and right as well. Shoulders are on ball joints. They can do a full 360. They can sort of butterfly forward and back, give them this transformation hinge there. You've got outward motion at the shoulders. You got bicep rotation, 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. Nothing at the wrist, nothing at the waist. Honestly, the waist, I don't see how they could have done it with this little like clip me do weapon thing here, but yeah. And this also just does not like staying put together super well. Hips can go forward, they can go back about that far, but if you move this out of the way, they can go back a bit further. They can go in and out. You have a really stiff, because it rips the ball joint off, really stiff thigh rotation, but there is thigh rotation. Little under 90 degrees of bend at the knee. And then this is what shocked me, ankle tilt. Not for the transformation, he just has ankle tilt. And that's really fun. Now, a couple things that do bug me about this is, number one, these panels right here, the way that the thigh is sculpted, it's done in such a way that this panel shouldn't hinder the thigh swivel at all, but as you saw on this side, it kind of does. It pushes up against this part right back here a little too much. And then the hips are really loose. They're ball joints, so I can fix them, but they are really loose. This, though, this bugs me. And you can kind of see like there's a tab right here that goes into a little slot right there, but it doesn't actually fit because it's not a slot. It's literally a gap where the pin is, and it just sort of rests in there. So there's no click point, because this hole right here, which grips onto that tab, and then that bit that goes onto here, they also don't have any click points. They just sort of sit and rest. And so you gotta hope that he doesn't start coming apart, because he will just start coming apart. It's a tiny bit annoying. So I like this robot a lot. That's how you say words. So I like this robot a lot. It's really fun to mess with and to pose out. I just wish that torso tapped in a bit better, because it's annoying, and I wish he came with something. Oh, and he got replaced by this Megatron, who sucks. Car time of sorts. The engineering on this kind of feels a bit like Studio Series Bay engineering. Like, it's kind of modern in the way that it works, because it does things you don't really expect it to do. So to start with, if you have the wings folded up, I'm going to fold them in. And we're going to unpeg the backpack, which just sort of clips onto here. That's really stiff. And we're going to bring this whole entire assembly out like that. Then we're going to rotate the head 180 degrees and fold it up and in. That's going to reveal the booster. Now the arms, the shoulders, you're going to want to bring them out like this, and then down, and then rotate the bicep swivel. Keep the shoulders. Oops, that wheel just fell right off. But we're going to leave the arms right there. Now what we're going to do is take this entire assembly here and rotate it 180 degrees. We're going to take this cannon section, fold it up, and then we're going to bring this section up like that. Now we're going to take these wheel pieces and fold them forward while folding the crotch down. Get the doors out of the way just so it's easier to see. Bring the legs around the arms, right? You want them to go on the outside. And then we are going to connect to this whole assembly here at the front together. We're going to bring the wheel, or the feet, sorry, and peg them into the back. Then you're going to fold these side sections down here and bring the wheels up, and they will sort of sit into place on both sides. There are these little like stems that stick out that go into these little gaps at the bottom here. So you just get that all lined up there. And then the arms, there are these big pegs that stick out underneath here that are going to go into those slots in the arms. So you just bring that in. Now, the big issue that I have here is, for some reason, so these knee bits, right, are going to slot into these little gaps in the arms. It doesn't work very well on my copy, so you rotate these forward. So I'll just get that out of the way so I can show you better. It'll stay, right? And then sometimes this will just like launch itself out. Doesn't stay super duper well, so it's a bit weird. But then you fold these down, and there you have whatever that's supposed to be, car thing in its car thing mode. See what the arms just come undone. It's when I put him down, when I put him on the table, it comes undone. It's very odd. I don't quite understand it, but oh well. That is an car. It's based off the actual thing you sit in the ride, and I think having a physical toy of that is super cool. It also stays together fairly well, apart from, as I mentioned, the arms on my copy. They don't like to really stay pegged in at the bottom. I wish there was a bit more of a secure tab. But it's a nice size. He kind of does shrink in this mode a bit, but he feels really dense. The feet stick out the back, but they do a pretty okay job of blending in and looking a bit like boosters from the car. It helps that they have sculpted in boosters underneath them. He has clipped wheels, but he rolls fairly okay, and most of the robot, aside from the previously mentioned feet, hide away pretty well. I like this toy a lot. It's super cool to have because it's just fun, and the novelty of where it's from and how you get it, though its value has shot up recently and it's become a very expensive toy now. If you can find it for a reasonable price, and by reasonable I mean like, I think 80 to 90 bucks at most, because anything above 100 I don't feel is fully worth it. But if you can find it for less than that, I highly recommend trying this thing out. Hopefully we get a Studio Series 1 soon, please, Hasbro. But that's been my look at Universal Studios Evac. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.